the Scion FRS and the Subaru BRZ. It seems like everybody's talking about these twins. And we've even got a big road trip review coming up against their competitors. But when we found them both together at a track event, well, we knew we had to do a head-to-head.
This is the Scion FRS, on track at High Plains Raceway, just outside of Denver. It's a good day.
First time to track the Scion FRS. I've probably read as much as you have about this car, about the twins, and I've been very, very eager to drive it.
Now, this is a 6-speed, whereas the Subaru is an auto, but of course they're running the same power. And yes, this is down on power. But my God, that misses the point. It's not about beating people into submission with the amazing engine. It's about, can you maintain your speed? Can you work the tires and the chassis well enough that you just didn't lose as much speed as everybody else in the corner? That's what's possible here.
These tires are not big. You've got to manage the contact patch at every corner. But what that does is it really gives you a sense of satisfaction when you get it right, because you know it was you and not the car.
I worship at the feet of the Lotus Elise. That is my favorite car for steering. And this FRS is really impressive. The car feels light, it's informative. The on-center feel is perfect because you know that either side of that, you're going to start moving the chassis. But there's not a throw around of weight because there's not much weight here.
It's so low and light, it's like you're flying an airplane. It's kind of like you've got a rudder behind you and you can actually just kind of squirm your way through corners.
It doesn't feel like it understeers at all. It just feels like the whole body starts to slide in a very controllable four-wheel drift. No sense of anything on the car fighting what you're trying to do. It's incredibly neutral. Leans over a little bit on its suspension, but just sticks like crazy, and you can feel exactly where your grip is.
Do I wish for more power? Yeah, on some cars, but on this one, I don't know that I do. I think it's pretty good. It doesn't sound like very much, but let's be honest, this car is pretty light to begin with.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but this FRS has the best steering feel of any car I've driven short of the Lotus Elise. It's that good. Now, Subaru BRZ. Same car, different branding. This one has the auto, which I don't like as much. But let's work the paddles and see how this goes.
You know what? First turn, I'm already feeling a difference. Now, you would think that getting into this car with an automatic transmission is sacrilege, but I will say I'm pretty impressed. It's not bad.
It's not some dual clutch wonder machine, but it actually will shift exactly when you asked.
Okay, so now I'm in fourth. I want more power. Yeah, it's only on straightaways. So you're gonna be doing a lot of waving people by, but what you're going to be most proud of is connecting your corners together.
Obviously, like the FRS, there's not much weight here. But interestingly, it feels a little bit heavier because it feels a little bit number. Much to my surprise.
The driving experience on these twins is so pure, but this car feels sharper.
Now, please don't misunderstand me. I'm talking about this in fractions. Compared to most cars you've probably ever driven, this has incredibly informative steering. It's just that the FRS is a bit better than this is.
Whereas to me, the Scion felt like you're landing in a crosswind and you can feel your tail kind of getting squirmy. This one feels more planted, so there is a difference.
This car actually feels like it rolls less than the FRS, but the steering also gives you less. It's easier to wake up the understeer in the BRZ. The FRS feels like all 4 corners are going to slide at the exact same instant. The BRZ feels like it's going to scrub a little fraction of that speed just through the front wheels and understeer.
But again, it's just all about managing the contact patch in this car. And I feel like I can do it better in the Subaru.
We're still almost in a class by ourselves here. We're still dealing with cars that feel almost like nothing else you can buy.
Personally, I've always been somebody who wants more power, and I admit to that. It's funny because now, having driven these cars, I'm almost the exact opposite. I don't mind the lack of power.
FRS and BRZ on the same track in the same day. I expected these cars to be identical.
I did too. You know, these are cars that had to be built. I mean, Toyota needed this car for its
Subaru
image.
really didn't, but Toyota sure did.
Subaru didn't, but Toyota certainly needed this car. And I thought, okay, they're going to be kind of similar. They are not.
I expect them to be identical, and they are shockingly different.
I'm amazed. Okay, so which one did you pick?
Well, FRS.
What? I picked the BRZ.
Of course you did, because we couldn't possibly agree. I think this is so tight and sharp, and there's no understeer at all. That is great, unless you've driven this. This has got more neutral, I think more precise handling.
This is spongy. It feels spongy. It feels
All
like
right,
somebody forgot to
look.
tighten the bolts in the rear suspension.
I'm sure it's
like
put
I'm
together
floating
fine.
over
We had it on the
bumps.
track, nobody died. But here's the thing. I will grant you, this has got more body roll.
It's
than
got
that
a
one
lot
does.
more body roll.
But that one has a little more understeer, and as a result, the steering's a bit more numb. Now, compared to most cars, fantastic. Compared to this, not as good. That's my car.
I ended up liking the Subaru better. I don't feel like it's muted at all. I feel like it's giving me information about where the limits of the car are. I
God
started
forbid.
rolling in this car and it made
God
me back
forbid
up.
we agree. God forbid that happened.